Victor will just glance at Genie.
So offering him Genie as a bride gift has upset him.
Whatever.
He's clearly not into you.
I told that guy not to tell your lord that, and now I have to kill him. God.
Is it my understanding then that you're threatening violence upon my lord's house?
No. I strictly instructed the other guy, not the other messenger, not to say that because my cousin here does not speak for our house.
The man stands with his back straight. Forgive me, but usually when I'm relaying messages on behalf of my lord, I am dealing with noblemen and women, not of your lot.
Of our lot.
Our
Victor
lot.
will glare at
What
the
is
guy.
our lot? We are noble women and men, all of us.
Are you not aware of who we are, sir?
As you say.
Uh-huh.
Shall I inform my lord you will not be bringing a bride gift to the ceremony?
We are in the process of getting one together. We have had less than an hour before we were even told that one was required. And yes, we are bringing a bride gift.
I would expect men and women of high birth to understand that coming to a wedding necessitates the bringing of a bride gift.
Listen here, you little shit. We will bring your master something. If you continue to insult us, we will bring your master your head.
And with that, he nods very curtly and very quickly leaves.
I think you may have made
Everybody except Victor, go ahead, make me an insight check.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, okay.
20? That's also not a 20. Come on.
Come on. Why are the D20s broken?
I don't know. I couldn't get
They're
one.
not. They're working as intended for us.
I've got an insight of... Oh, I am trading that. I got an insight of...
4.
22.
A 7.
Ekon.
Yeah.
Watching this most recent tete-a-tete between Victor and the manservant, that guy's going to go right home and tell Lord Randus that Victor has threatened to kill him.
Do I think
in
that
response
he is
to
going...
asking for the bride gift?
Which him in...
The servant. Because Victor...
So he thinks he's gonna... Victor is threatening to kill the servant.
Yes.
Which he did, yeah, okay. So he's gonna tell... do I get a sense of if he thinks that... Is he going to say that Victor has threatened to kill him, or House Veritas has threatened to... Can I tell?
You get the sense that if that servant gets back to the Long Hall to relay that message, things are going to go very, very badly for you tonight. You have to prevent that message from reaching the Squelcher Lord's ears.
Who has their familiar?
I do.
Draft a letter that says that that we have draft a letter and send a familiar, basically explaining to the seneschal guy, basically explaining that that we don't want to alarm any. We don't want to make a big fuss, but basically we need to throw them under the bus. Saying we don't want to cause a big. We don't want to cause too much trouble. We just wanted to let you know that your servants are going around and insulting guests.
Well, by the time
you want to draft the letter, I've got the familiar.
By the time you've written this letter, that servant will have reached the Long Hall.
Okay, fine. Do we just go murder him on the way back? I don't know.
You have Vortex Warp.
There's no way. Like, he's gone. So, like, there's no way I could do that stealthily.
No. Probably not.
So
we're going to allow the servant to reach the Long Hall?
Actually, no. You know what? Victor, come on. Or excuse me, Edmont. You the fastest runner?
Yeah?
I need you to go. You need to go to the hall. Follow me quickly. We're gonna dash out of the hall with Edmont. And then, Edmont, I need you to tell the Squelcher Lord that our gift is going to be a gift of jewelry and various magical and several magical accoutrements, and that they will be delivered as soon as we can acquire suitable packaging, and then because some of the contents are slightly fragile, and then I'm going to need you to dash there and beat that servant there.
Is this
Pretty
something
sure I can do that.
Edmont is? You're sure you can outrun him? Yes.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I can do that.
And then we're going to go outside, and then the first thing I'm going to do is, can I see the servant?
If your intent is to prevent him, yeah, you can catch him going down the stairs of the beer house. You can catch him out on the street. You have
I am
some leeway.
as soon as he gets far enough away from me to where there is some measure, I'm going to vortex warp him 90 feet in the opposite direction.
So like down the road.
Down the road, he's just going to boop, boop, across the street or
Okay.
down the road. Yeah, 90 feet. Edmont, go.
I am going to leave the beer house at this point, and I'm going to try and find some sort of packaging, I guess.
Yeah.
General store or something. You're thinking a potion and a spear and some gems? Is that what we're up to now?
Yeah.
What it sounds like, yeah. Victor will glance over to Eugenia and grin and say, now at least it'll be self-defense.
Edmont, for the second time today, you approach the Squelcher Lord's hall. This time you're not invisible. So this time you're stopped at the gate of the yard. They inform you that guests are not being admitted yet.
I'm going to inform them and say that that my family wishes to have me deliver the message. The word just completely vanished from my brain.
Bridal gift.
The bridal gift.
At the mention of the bride gift, the two men-at-arms at the gate, they glance at each other, they admit you into the yard, and they tell you where you can find Leorno in the main hall finishing up preparations. The ceremony is set to begin in about 2 hours.
Yeah, I'm gonna go find Leorno.
Heading
And,
inside,
inform him,
and you find him.
and inform him of what Jeannie has just pulled out of her ass.
So you're telling Leorno that your bride gift is going to consist of some number of gems, a potion, and a magical spear. Is that correct?
Yes.
Leorno seems pleased. He clasps his hands together. He says, "Oh, a princely gift indeed. I am sure that my lord will be very, very pleased. I do wonder, though, there was no necessity for a man of your stature to come deliver this message yourself. We did send runners, you understand."
Where we come from, for such important matters, we generally try to bring family, especially on such an auspicious day.
Ah, I understand. Yes, it is somewhat delightful to be privy to your rustic foreign charms and traditions. And he smiles broadly.
Sure, he does.
While you're here, he shows you kind of where House Veritas will be seated during the wedding.
Sure.
So the high table would be up on the dais. This is where the Squelcher Lord would be sitting with the bride and groom. There would be a second table just in front of the dais, which would be the Lord's family, guests of honor, the bride and groom's family and such. Mm-hmm. And then the nobles will be seated at the table throughout the hall, according to their station, of which House Veritas, you learn, is the least and farthest.
Yeah, that's kind of insulting, but I'm not going to press the issue right now.
It's not insulting necessarily. I mean, you're not going to be eating on the floor with the servants and dogs, but
Yeah, but we're important, damn it.
well, you've now learned how important you are to him.
Yeah.
And you have sent several of his manservants back today saying, "Stop asking us about gifts. Also, we're going to cut their heads off."
Yeah. I mean, listen.
We only sent one back to say that.
Speaking of which, yeah, Jeannie, I mean, you... Vortex, what does this look like?
He just blinks, like it doesn't say, but I guess it's just like he just blinks out and blinks over there. There's no noise, no nothing. It's just he's here and he's there.
So you blink him off in the direction of the
I
village
imagine
square.
it's very disorienting if you don't know what's going on.
So the sequence of events is this. Here, let me get the village table out.
There's no like Stargate portal that opens and he runs through it, or
No.
I don't watch Stargate, you nerd. So he's heading from the beer house here down this road here. You wait until he started down this road, and then you vortex warp him across the square over to where the pillory is, to that area. You watch, and it's like after you cast the spell, that's when you send Edmont off. So you watch Edmont run down the lane towards the hall. The man over here is very discombobulated for a moment. You can you caught him mid-step, and he almost falls over. You see he catches his bearings, looks around confusedly, and then shoots a look back at the beer house where presumably Jeannie is still standing.
I mean, he's 90 feet away from me.
I can see someone who's
So-
standing 90 feet away from me.
And through all the crowds and stuff?
90 feet is the length of a length from home plate to first base.
And you're watching through the crowd, and you see him flag down two of the men-at-arms standing near to the pillory, which is they've had guards stationed on it today. And they begin marching towards the beer house with him. So, Ekon and Victor, are you going to be around the beer house still, or have you gone out to look for...
Ekon left to get packaging.
Yeah, I ran out to get packaging.
Okay.
Victor is still there with Jeannie.
So, are Jeannie and Victor going to be at the bear house when the servant and these three guards arrive?
Jeannie, run!
No, because that makes me look guilty. We're going to go inside and get a nice drink. Come on.
Victor, are you running?
No, we're gonna go get a drink with Jeannie.
So you guys are inside the beer house when the man arrives with three guards. And you hear the man point to the table and says, "Those are them, the mischief makers, House Veritas." The guards come over, and it becomes very clear very quickly what's transpired. They know that you've used some sort of sorcery on this man to keep him from going back to the long haul, and they know that you've threatened to kill him. Victor, you are informed by the guards that they're going to be taking you into custody and putting you in irons so that you cannot cause any violence at the ceremony. A threat against one of Lord Randus' servants is as a threat against Lord Randus' person. That's what they're saying, at least.
Victor will glance at Jeannie and then slowly stand up.
Told you shouldn't, and I'll say I told. Oh, no, I'm not going to say anything.
What's this about, good sir? We're just here having a drink.
I think he just explained what it's about. You threatened to cut this servant's head off when he came to deliver a message from his lord.
I did no such thing.
Make me a deception check at disadvantage. Roll high.
Well, I rolled high on one dice. Does that count?
Well, you got to take the lower. It's a disadvantage.
Ah, well, that would be a.
Yeah, you're not a Floridian, so you
Obviously, a 6 is gonna fail, so that would be a 13.
What's your modifier?
7 makes it a 13.
Okay.
Can you psionic die?
That is my psionic die.
So
What's your?
you've used the psionic die on this roll?
Well, the psionic die only gets used if it passes, but yeah.
What do you mean it only gets used if it passes?
No, so if assuming the 6 fails, then yes, I'm using a psionic die to give me a +7.
And that raises it to a 13.
That raises it to a 13. Yes.
Okay, which still fails.
Yes.
Which means it doesn't get used up.
These three guards were not called in here to hear your story. These three guards were called in here to bring you into custody because you are a dangerous man. And as you're trying to smooth talk your way out of it, and they are just not buying it. You don't have any compunctions whatsoever about your ability to kill 3 of Lord Randus's guards and this servant if need be. The question is whether that's a smart decision at this juncture. Jeannie, do you have any thoughts on that? Or are you staying out of the altercation?
I'm like, are we still mind linked? Like it lasts an
Yeah.
hour. Like I'll be like, just go with them. We'll get you out later. I promise I'll get you. I promise I'll get you out.
You better make sure they don't take my thieves' tools. So Victor will shrug and take another sip of his drink. If you want to believe this commoner over nobles that have come here on diplomatic purposes, I guess that's your head that'll be on Lord Randus's platter.
The guards look. The one that's speaking
go.
to you has been taken aback. Says, "This is Lord Randus's serving man."
Yes, and we are nobles who've made no threats. My family member ran to inform him of our wedding gifts, so I'm not entirely sure what bag of lies this man has been spreading to you.
So you're sticking to the story. You did not threaten this
Yes.
guy. Okay.
Deny.
Yeah. If you wish me to come with you while this is settled, that's fine. You can head to the keep and verify my story yourself that our wedding gift will be delivered.
Ekon, where did you go in town to look for a delivery receptacle for the bride gifts?
Is there a general store?
There's a marketplace set up in and
Okay.
around the town
Yeah,
square with various wares.
That works then.
Okay. Make me a investigation check, please.
Hey. Guidance on this. So that comes to 13.
While you're out and about, browsing the wares, you overhear a piece of
I think my internet
information.
goes wrong.
There's a lot of lord servants congregating near to the tobacco shop that you had visited yesterday. And you learn the reason why while you're out in the marketplace. It's because the groom, Darian, is being put up by the Oliver family, the tobacco growers. That's where he's making his pre-ceremony preparations. So he and his family are currently there. And it seems to you that they have him under heavy, maybe surveillance is the wrong word, but it's Lord Randus has urged the groom not to come to the long hall until summoned. This seems irregular. How much are you going to spend on a nice bit of packaging?
Let me see here. So, I don't know, let's say 50 silver.
Okay. So you could find a relatively nice slide box, crafted out of wood. The top slides out and revealing the inside. Yeah, you think you could pack it, half of it maybe with straw to keep the potion bottle from sloshing around, make the gems look nice. Obviously, you're not going to fit a spear inside this box, but it makes for a handsome presentation.
Can I get like a bow or something festive to tie the spear to it?
Like, it's a spear, not a candy cane.
Yeah.
Although, how amazing would it be if Edmont started fighting monsters with a candy cane?
I would pay to see that.
Yeah, they could take a length of cloth and tie a ribbon around the spear if you like.
Okay. I mean, I don't have the spear on me, so I'll just need the cloth to tie it myself.
And then after you've done this, you're heading back to the beer house.
Yep.
Edmont.
Sir.
As you are conversing a bit with Leorno, having delivered this message, you're about to leave. You've been there maybe 10 or 15 minutes or so. When one of the men-at-arms comes into the long hall, says, "You're Veritas?
Yeah, I am.
We have your brother at the gate. There's been some sort of misunderstanding perhaps you can clear up?"
Certainly.
He takes you outside, and yeah, they've got Victor, 3 men, and the servant that he threatened earlier at the gate just outside the yard. The story is that the servant is saying that Victor threatened to kill him and then used magic to keep him from coming back to deliver the message. Victor is saying that he made no such threat and that this man can't be trusted because he's a commoner.
Certainly, we can't.
Edmont.
We don't want these kind of things. We don't want these kind of things dragging down the big day, do we?
That's exactly why they
I'm
want to strip him down and throw him in a dungeon for the duration of the ceremony.
I'm sure my cousin was just in his cups.
At 10:30 in the morning?
Edmund, can you tell these gentlemen why you're here?
Edmund, roll me an insight check. Let's see how Edmund can read the situation.
Certainly.
Our dice rolls make this so much fun.
That's an 11.
An 11?
Yep.
I'm not going to lie to you. I mean, you were there. You heard the threat. You know what the truth is.
Yeah, I did.
Okay. So you don't really see a good solution to the situation. I'll let you play it out.
And that's the best I can come up with, is that perhaps my cousin was just in his cups.
So you're claiming that Victor was drunk?
Yeah.
Make me a deception check.
$11.
11?
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't believe you. I mean, the servant tells he was sent. It was late in the morning when they arrived. None of them seemed to have been drunk. He was drinking in the beer house when the men-at-arms went and got him, but it seemed that they had just sat down. Yeah, they don't believe it. And even if he was, Lord Randis would still take offense to the fact that he would arrive to this ceremony already drunk.
Also, Victor has not been acting drunk. Edmund,
I literally can't do anything with this.
can you tell these guards why you're here?
Yeah. And I do.
Okay. So then the explanation they're going to need is, why did you not just send the serving man with that message? Why did you send him with a threat instead?
I told you, we said no such threat.
Nobody believes you.
That's fine.
At this point, I really can't think of anything that would help Victor aside. So I think Victor's getting clapped in irons for the next scene.
You could have lied for him.
He tried. He rolled and failed the deception check.
I did.
So I guess the final question then is, Victor, are you going peaceably into Lord Randis' dungeon?
That's probably going to be a no.
So you're going to have to fight these guards then, you understand. In the yard, an hour before the ceremony.
Surrounded by all the other guards.
Right.
How many guards are there?
3 right now. No, I'm sorry, 4. There's 3 that brought you up to the gate, and then there were 2 at the gate, one of which ran inside and got Edmont.
And how many guards are... The only 4 are the only ones I see?
At the moment, but you know that he has men-at-arms stationed all around the village, and who knows how many more on the grounds that you can't see.
So Victor will calmly look at the guards, and he will say something to the lines of, "You obviously don't know who we are. You're familiar with the Lucaru. You're familiar that they were killed, and now the werewolves have run off from the south. We're the ones who did that. If you wish me to go sit quietly in the room procured for us by Randis, until the wedding ceremony, I'm completely fine with that. If you choose to throw me in the dungeon, there will be consequences.
Well, they've been
I
ordered
did not
to take
threaten
you
this
to the
man.
dungeon.
What?
Wasn't their decision. They've been ordered to do this.
And Victor is telling them that he will happily go sit in his room if they're concerned that he will cause trouble, but he will not be going to the dungeon.
One of the man-at-arms is about to respond. Very annoyed, very taken aback. But before he speaks anything, the serving man holds his hand up. Says, very well. You good lads can escort Lord Veritas back to his... No, you were staying at the Long Hall.
Yeah.
Okay. You could escort Lord Veritas to his room in the hall and stand guard outside the door. And then he turns to Edmont and graciously thanks Edmont for finally, at long last, delivering an answer about this bride gift question that's been looming over House Veritas all morning.
Like an hour.
It has been like an hour, yeah.
It's been literally 1 hour.
Lord Randus is not a man that likes to be kept waiting.
He hasn't been
Lord.
waiting.
He's been waiting an hour.
It's another reason he's going to die.
Oh.
So, Victor, you're going inside with the men-at-arms?
Yeah.
The serving man stays out in the yard with Edmont. Again, just expressing gratitude and slight bewilderment as to why your house had chosen to handle the situation this way rather than just send the first serving man back with the message that you eventually came and delivered yourself. He doesn't gainsay you, but he does find it odd.
I said that like just because I needed to try and make sure that Victor wouldn't, lose his head for this.
Okay.
I'm trying to. Yeah, I don't say that to him obviously, but it's just like, come on now, Victor, you got to work with me here.
That's why Victor went inside instead of killing everybody.
Not gonna lie, I thought it was gonna come to that, and I was like, you fool. Rest in peace, Gilbert Godfrey.
Is there anything else that the other three of you who aren't under guard right now would like to do before the ceremony begins?
Like, we still don't have a plan.
All of your planning time was...
that.
But we're still connected, Treble. So.
We got interrupted in our planning time, so it's like,
Well,
all right. Like I guess when everybody gets better, all right, we need to decide right now. 15 minutes. We're going with Plan A or Plan B.
you hear a voice in the back of your head. Treble, you may want to be his bride. It gets us in.
Wait, which plan is which?
That plan's already been rejected, homie.
What plan has been rejected? The me marrying Lord Brandis?
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
All right, Plan A. Just to remind everybody, like this is kind of like I'm not saying any more than Plan A or Plan B. Plan A was we probably don't have enough time for Plan A. All right, I think we should go with Plan B, which is steal one of the people and run them out of the village and cause a stir to cause an opening for the other lady to kill this guy.
By one of the people, you mean one of the bride or groom.
Yeah, the bride or groom. I'm leaning more towards the groom. Seems to be, from what Ekon says, the groom is easier to get to. The bride seems less happy about the situation, so.
So you're going to try to kidnap the bride or the groom?
Anybody got any other things? We've got literally an hour to.
I mean, that was
You're not
my
here.
plan C. My plan C was cause confusion and then do something during the confusion. So.
And how long does the mind link last?
It lasts for at least an hour. But let me double check.
All right. There's absolutely no way this is gonna work. Seriously. Like,
So the bride is in her quarters up at the long hall. The groom is and his family are being put up by the tobacco growers, the Olivers.
The mine link is 7 hours, by the way.
All right. Well,
what is?
I think we just deal with the hand we. I think we just play the hand we're dealt, and
We haven't been given any cards. That's
exactly.
the problem.
Exactly. I think we just go to the wedding and see how things play out from there.
You're all just holding jokers.
We're not holding anything. If we had
We are the
jokers, we
jokers.
could do something.
Just gonna straight up stab him in the face of the wedding.
I've talked about this before, but it feels like every time we try to do something,
So we're just going to attend the wedding?
Yeah.
Okay.
and look for an opportunity to steal one of the brides or grooms.
Well, your opportunity be right now, because the groom and his family are going to be at the Olivers' house for the next hour or so. Then they're going to be summoned up to the long hall, and then the guests are going to be summoned in.
Mm-hmm.
Genie, if you want to kidnap the bride, I'm inside. I can cause a distraction.
It's like, if you want to try to get the bride or the groom, now's the time. You got to pull the trigger right now.
All right. I'm unless somebody gainsays me right now, I'm gonna say let's pull the trigger and get the groom.
Yeah,
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
what's the
right.
worst that could happen?
The Olivers' garden is this large house here. Is this the southern edge? I think this is the southern edge. This map is... Oh, there's not a compass rose. Okay. I have no idea which direction it is then.
Leeb.
Edmont and Ekon have both been here and partaken of some of the Olivers' gifts. There are 2 men-at-arms at the gate down at the road, just outside the Olivers' fence. Presumably they're just keeping an eye on things because the groom is here. Spirits at the house are very tense, and the Oliver family themselves... they're the only ones that seem to be in decent spirits. Remember, it's just a man and then his son. They lost the rest of the family to illness. These are common folk, but they've been given an invitation to this wedding because of their prominent position in town. And the 2 of them greet you guys warmly as you come up to the gate.
Yeah. I'll be cordial and.
Let me get a perception check from all 3 of you.
The 17.
Okay.
That is higher than 17. That is
13.
18.
Genie and Ekon, as you approach, you see the boy that you recognize as Darian in a second-story window, craning his neck down to look in the yard. And no sooner do you see him there trying to get a good view of who's approaching, that he turns his head away from the window, presumably to somebody else in the room with him, and then he's quickly... his attention is pulled away.
Mm-hmm.
But his look out the window was very deliberate. He wasn't just glancing. He was expecting somebody to come.
All right. So, I mean, my plan for this was not to approach the house.
Mm-hmm.
We have already done that, so I'm not sure what to do now. My plan was to get a glimpse of him through a window, vortex him warp into the waiting arms of Edmont, and then run him into the woods.
Do you want to do that while he's looking down from... Because the window he looked out of is facing their garden and yard.
I mean, like, this is something, like, I'm not going to just do it in the middle of the street. I'm trying to hide while I'm doing this. So, yeah, that was my plan. Anybody...
Uh,
Have a better
I
idea?
have a much worse plan, so let's go with that one.
What was your plan?
My plan was to tell them that we're here to take the groom for his sacraments, and obviously if the Lord Randus hasn't gotten information to you, I would keep that quiet, as I would prefer not to get whatever servant dropped the ball in trouble. Obviously there's been a lot of chaos this morning.
What are you guys doing?
So you tell the guards that you're here to deliver the sacraments?
Yeah,
the
we're going to
bridegroom?
take him out to the edge of town and do a proper sacrament for his wedding. Again, the word should have come. I don't know. There's a lot of chaos right now, and I would prefer not to get whoever dropped the ball on that one in trouble, is what I will say when it becomes clear they don't think that I should be doing that.
Make me a deception check.
You got it.
Oh my god.
I wish we had charisma.
That's a, no, that's a 1.
Oh.
We're really bad at this.
They tell you, one of the guardsmen, no, we hadn't received any sort of word. I wasn't, looks up at the window. I wasn't aware that the Michaels followed your, I'm sorry, I don't know your god.
I would just like to say that we're really bad liars because we're the House of Truth, remember?
Is that,
I just like Victor is just talking in Jeannie's head, and she's just rubbing her head, slowly getting a migraine. Because the mind link lasts for 7 hours, and she wants desperately to end it, but she can't because Victor is in the jail cell, and she promised she would get him out.
Well, whoever was supposed to be doing it apparently had a little bit too much to drink last night, so they asked for me since they knew I was in town.
you can
My
tell,
brother is a man of the faith.
you can tell that they don't believe you, but one of the
Mhm.
Olivers speaks up. Says, the boy's been cooped upstairs all morning, and he's about to be cooped up for all the rest of his days. Surely you fellows don't see the harm in any of this? Let's get an insight check from either Edmont and or Jeannie.
Oh, and or?
Okay.
Ed, that's not a great. That's hopefully Edmont does better.
Edmont, how'd you do on your insight?
14.
14?
That's
Yeah.
less than 14.
In the next few seconds, Edmont, these guards are going to tell the Olivers that they have orders and they're going to follow them. This would be the perfect time for you or one of your cousins, your brother or your cousin, to step forth with a bit of a bribe to tip the scales in your favor. If you show these guards something shiny, you might be able to pull this off, even though Ekon is a terrible liar. Which is to his credit, if we're being honest.
I mean, look, I've been wondering when we're going to start bribing people basically the entire session. Like, I don't know why we haven't bribed anyone yet. It makes no sense to me.
You guys aren't used to
Ekon will
bribing people,
totally
I guess.
bribe someone because he's dealt with corrupt church officials before.
Yeah, Edmont steps forward and says, "Come now, please. The sacraments must be adhered to, should they not?" And Edmont puts an arm around his shoulder and flashes a couple of gold coins so that only he can see them.
I mean,
I do have sleight of hand.
make a sleight of hand check.
Yeah. Please stop stealing the dice and stacking them up. 16.
Please stop stealing the infinite dice from the table. 16.
Yep.
Official scarcity.
You kind of throw the guard off a little bit, off kilter. Just you can tell that he's uncomfortable by this level of familiarity as you step into his personal space, put your arm around his shoulder. When you palm the gold and he sees it, he just looks up at the Oliver and says, "Well, as long as they're back before we receive the summons from Lord Randus." And he reaches down with his own hand and takes the gold out of Edmont's hand.
Knock that 5 gold off. And step in along inside the house.
Okay. Downstairs in the Oliver's house are... Some of you met the parents. I think Evie was the one who met the parents of the groom yesterday. They're in very high spirits, but you can tell they're also very, very anxious about the timetable having been moved up. When Darian is called for, he's brought downstairs and he's already wearing his groom's cloak, his nice family colors, which are deep blues and purples for his house. And he seems very confused, but he agrees to go along with Ekon almost a little too easily. Do you guys, when the parents ask to come along with you to see to these traditional sacraments, what do you tell them?
It's a very personal matter that is between the priest and the groom.
And the father speaks up as well. Didn't have any such sacraments before my own wedding.
This is
Look, Randus, I'm not about, and Ekon just
That's
sort of
not
looks back
Randus.
and forth. Ekon makes an effort to look back and forth comedically, like he's wondering if anyone's looking. Look, I'm not about to say anything bad about the Squelcher Lord, but he has very particular religious leanings and invocations, and this has to be done the way he wants it done.
Make a persuasion check.
Yep. Terrible at these two.
oh god.
You don't have to roll terribly high. Do better than a 1.
He and a 2?
A 2?
Are you serious? That's
Oh,
incredible.
that's great.
You said do better than 1, and he did. Does that mean he passed?
No. But I'm proud that he did better than 1. They're suspicious. You get the sense that they believe you that this is being requested by Lord Randus, but there's something else they're suspicious about.
Mm-hmm.
They're still in good spirits, but it's decided that the father, whose name is Elic, will accompany you to the site, but will stay well aside so that he will not interrupt with the sacraments.
Okay.
Darian seems to go very willingly. He's a little confused as he's never met any of you before, but where do you take this poor boy?
Boy, if Vincent wasn't in jail right now, we'd be fine. We could just leave. I mean, Eugenia, it's your plan. What do you got?
The woods over there, I guess. To be one with nature. I don't know.
So the wooded area just outside of the village?
Mm-hmm. Away from eyes.
Darian whispers to Ekon as they're leaving. And he tells you that Viola prayed for you. Are you here at her behest?
Do I know that name?
No.
I'll whisper back. The god I serve works in mysterious ways sometimes, so perhaps I am.
Looking back over his shoulder where his father is walking, probably having polite conversation with Jeannie and Edmont at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So what are you going to do to spirit me away from here? That's my... Sorry, I had an alarm set.
Wake up.
We're hoping your father wouldn't tag along. Do you have any good ideas on losing him?
He looks back and whispers a little nervously now. He's smaller than you. And your brother both.
Got a mind link to Edmont. You think you could tie this guy up and leave him in the woods? Not like so that he dies, but just like so that he can't follow us?
Are any of you telling Victor what you guys are doing?
I have to tell you this because I have to use you as a relay for the mind link.
Yeah, so Victor will relay the message. Do you guys want me to escape from here and help you?
Our lives would be a lot easier right now if you weren't in that dungeon, yes. I'll say that much.
Okay, well, I'm not in a dungeon, I'm in my room. Let me see if I can get out.
Well,
You attempt. The door has been locked.
Oh, that's okay, we have thieves' tools.
Let's resolve what's happening with the
Yeah.
bridegroom first.
I mean, yeah, so my thought is just wait till we're out, like, I don't know, outside of sight of the village through the woods, and then just not hurt him, just restrain him and tie his legs and arms, and hopefully in some sort of slip knot that he can get loosened a little bit, but...
yeah, let's do that.
Okay, and you don't have any difficulty overpowering this man and tying him up, gagging him, presumably, so he can't scream bloody murder.
Yeah.
And you can tell that it bothers Darian a little bit watching this happen, but
My brother's very skilled. Your father won't actually be hurt, don't worry.
he nods. I see the necessity for it. What is to become of Nicola? I don't dislike her. I wouldn't wish any harm to come to her because of this.
Nicola is the
bride.
The bride.
Your bride to be.
What? So, first off, like we'll leave the father. Like, come on, let's march back to the. Let's continue to march to the woods a distance away from him.
Yeah.
I'm assuming you told us the name Viola.
Yeah, who's Viola?
Darian,
Edmont, do you have a pass without trace?
I do.
Would you mind doing that?
Doing that. Yeah, pass
Thank
without
you.
trace on the three of us plus the groom. Darian,
presumably plus
Four of
Orson.
us.
and Orson. Yes.
So you can't be tracked then.
Correct.
Might be like a plus
Oh.
20.
Yeah, it's like a yeah. We leave no evidence of our passing.
Darian is a little nervous when he kind of discovers that you're not here at Viola's behest, but he confides that Viola is a girl from his parents' town, where they have their little village, much like Lord Randus has his here. His parents being somewhat well-to-do nobles in their own right, lord and lady. But Viola is a girl who lives in the village. She and her family tend to his parents' herd of pigs. And he fell in love with her. And of course they denied him the wedding. She's too lowborn for him. So she prayed that some sort of assistance would be sent to stop this wedding that Lord Randus wants to go forward with.
So, why is Nicola? She doesn't seem too happy about the wedding either, from what we have seen. Leaving out the part where Edmont snuck into her room. Does she have somebody?
And he shakes his head and says, you can tell that's a very uncomfortable subject to bring up. We've only spoken on a few occasions with chaperones, you understand.
Does this have to do with the Sculpture Lord? Does he have designs on this marriage? Some bad?
I presume he has designs on his ward. She's a delightful young girl. She deserves... It would not be... He's having difficulty finding the words as he's stammering through it.
Speak plainly, please. We might be nobility, but we're people too.
Forgive me, you are foreigners, and I do not know your traditions and customs. But lords do not practice the rite of first night where you're from.
No.
Oh,
What does that mean? Wait. Right of first night?
Mm-hmm.
I
Uranus
think
is
this
gonna
means
sleep with a ward.
something-
On the evening of the wedding, before the bride and groom consummate the marriage, the Lord has the option to sleep with the bride first and take her maidenhead.
Excuse me,
No.
Edmont, we're getting that girl out of there.
Yeah, agreed.
Well, no wedding, no first night, but yeah.
All right, so what we're going to do is, how comfortable are you?
Family? Do you want me to get the girl when I leave here? She's in the hall, right?
I don't think you could get through there, get out with her. Do you have any way? Is there anything in there you could disguise yourself with?
Possibly.
Not unless you have access to a disguise kit on your character sheet.
Which I do not.
So, I mean, you could wrap a blanket around yourself and say you're a ghost.
Do that. That's funny.
Best plan ever.
So Darian he's worried that if they try to find him and he's not there, he's worried that repercussions will come down on the Olivers who didn't deserve to be in the way, or that Lord Randis might take out his wrath on Nicola in some way.
All right.
If those things happen, he's willing to let them happen as long as he can get back to his village before his parents find him and spirit himself away with his pig girl.
We know a lovely village that would love a pig farmer.
Yeah, Go.
Who are you saying go to?
The boy, go, and then get your pig farmer, and then if you follow the river south, and then when it rains, you can travel through the mist and then follow the river bank all the way to the village where we come from. And then you can rest and recuperate there, and then speak to our sister Tinny, and I forget the name of the NPC that, like, my sister that Evie uses as like a seneschal, but speak to her and tell her we sent you. And then if you want to stay. If you want to go, then continue on.
Okay. He unclasps the cloak he's wearing, let it drop to the ground. And he reaches into his boots. Sorry, I have to double check my notes here. He takes off one of his boots and reaches into it and pulls out just a small wad of basically sweaty cloth that's been resting against his foot. It says, "This gift, my parents had instructed me to make a gift of this to, the Squelcher Lord in a moment of privacy tonight at the feast." He hands it to you. Says, "I suppose I could give it to you instead, as payment for all you've done." Right now, it's just a wad of sweaty cloth.
I'll take it. I'll look at
check
this
for
cloth
magic.
that he dropped off and say, "They might need a groom. Am I about the same height as him?"
I'll say, you know what? How old are you? You're 20-something? This kid's probably only 16 or 17.
Edmont's I think Edmont is 19, I think I said. Yeah, 19.
What's your strength score?
Not great.
Well, that's
8.
good in this situation. 8? Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're scrawny enough. You might be able to disguise yourself as the groom.
We need your clothes.
Here's my thoughts, because Mirandus doesn't seem to care too much about the particulars of the wedding, only that it happens. And so if I pose as you during these events, you can flee and go wherever it is you wish to go.
Are you going to trade clothes with him?
Yeah, that's what I think is going to happen here.
Okay.
Another thing we can do is I have the alter self spell if we don't think you can pass muster.
I mean,
It'll last
you'd have
an
to
hour.
do that to change his hair color and hair length. And stuff.
alter self.
Oh,
Oh, so
It's
Jeannie would have
me.
to be the groom.
It
then.
would have to be Genie. It's a good idea, though.
I feel like Genie didn't want to go to a wedding.
so Edmont doesn't physically resemble Darian. He would need Like he can put on Darian's clothes. He can put on the groom's clothes. But I would require some kind of disguise check.
Which we
That
don't
wouldn't
have
pass
because-
muster for long enough. But the alter self spell would do a lot more work in this regard.
Right. We would have how long until the actual wedding is scheduled to start?
He was expecting to receive a summons within the hour.
All right.
We don't have a lot of time to prepare, but
Well, the spell only lasts an hour, so we would have to push it up to the absolute last moment.
So
yeah.
is he trading clothes with Jeannie or is he trading clothes with Edmont?
Does anybody have a spare set of clothes?
No, it was on my horse.
I have my traveling clothing.
So you have him change into Edmont's spare clothes?
Yeah.
He doesn't have to... Okay. And yeah, he relinquishes his clothes. Ekon, you had detected for magic, and you get a blinding, piercing magic from inside this wand of cloth.
I have identify. Do I have it actually prepared?
Well, does he know what it is?
He knows that it's jewelry of some kind. He's been so preoccupied these past few days. It's been a whirlwind of activity, and then the wedding got moved up, and he wasn't completely sure why.
I think the 10 minutes is worth it.
Yeah.
So you're sending him on his way, then you're going to cast Identify on the object?
Right. That'll give us time I mean, we gotta pretend like we did a ceremony of some kind anyway, so.
Yeah.
The object in the cloth is a tarnished brass ring, completely unadorned. There's no gem, there's no inscription or engraving. It's actually a little too small to fit. Like, Jeannie might be able to slip it halfway down her pinky finger. It definitely doesn't look like a ring made for human hands.
Mm-hmm.
And Ekon, when you detect magic on this thing, a piercing magic, blindingly bright.
What does the 10 minutes of identify tell us?
It tells you that the thing entrapped within the ring is named Kosh Katal.
Oh boy. There's something in this ring.
So the
Did
plan
not
now...
prepare detect good or evil today.
The plan now is to go back to the hall, have Jeannie cast Alter Self to look like the groom, go through the ceremony,
And then spirit the bride away, yes.
and then spirit the bride away. Let's take a break, and we'll come back and we'll see how beautiful this all turns out.
Oh my god.
So at this point, we've abandoned the plan of assassinating the Squelcher Lord. Now we're
That's
just...
just no, have we?
Are we not gonna have Victor kidnap the bride?
Go ahead,
you
get
guys
your
got
coffee,
going
get your
on?
bagel. We'll be back in about 15 minutes. Let's reconvene at about 4:30.